The launch of NHL 24 is almost here. In this video, we are going to break down all of the newest features and quality of life improvements in Hockey Ultimate Team for NHL 24. I'm No Sleeves, a full-time content creator focusing on the EA NHL franchise, here to walk you through everything about HUT in NHL 24. I also sat down with the HUT dev team lead Nicholas Shuchuk to get some in-depth insight for this year's game. Let's kick things off with the biggest addition coming to NHL 24, with the all-new HUT Moments. This year, you'll be able to play through some of the most historic moments in hockey history, as well as complete moments that happened during this upcoming season. Now, HUT Moments will be replacing the offline HUT Challenges from past games. In HUT Challenges, you were limited to a vague set of objectives to complete against a set roster in the game. In HUT Moments, you will be dropped into a specific time and scenario with customized players and rosters to fit that exact moment in hockey. And some will include a detailed breakdown from James Cebulski to hype up that moment.
In the opening round of the 2021 playoffs, the Montreal Canadiens found themselves on the brink of elimination, trailing 3-1 to their arch rivals, the Toronto Maple Leafs. It was Nick Suzuki who ignited the spark in Game 5 with an electrifying overtime goal, propelling the Habs to not only force a Game 6, but to also claim the series in 7. This is your moment. Triumph over the Leafs in overtime and orchestrate a remarkable series comeback.
Now, on top of the large list representing the more recent events in hockey, there will also be some of the most memorable in the history of the sport. Mario's emotional return in December of 2000 against the Leafs, all the way to Gretzky's 5-goal game against the Flyers in 1981, giving him 50 goals in 39 games. On top of all that, some moments will actually have you player locked to a specific player to complete that moment. And yes, that includes goaltenders. One of the most requested quality of life improvements from the community has been ending a moment when you've completed all of the objectives. So I had to ask Nicholas, what happens when you complete all of the objectives in a HUT moment?
We actually gave the option to end the moment early this year. I know it's something that was kind of called out as a quality of life thing in the past. So now, very simply, the next face-off in the game, you'll get prompted. You can exit and claim rewards early. If you're having fun playing the match and just want to play it all the way through, you can just hit continue and still quit out and get your rewards early anytime.
Speaking of completing objectives, that leads us into our next feature for NHL 24, Objectives 2.0. In this year's game, objectives will be tracked in real time and can now include in-game actions such as goals, assists, shot types, hits, as well as dekes. This is a massive upgrade from NHL 23, in which objectives were limited to games played with a specific card type, such as a current event, or simply totaling a certain stat, like score 50 goals, regardless of the player used to do so. In NHL 24, the objectives can be tracked with specific cards. For example, if a new event comes out, instead of just games played with event cards, it will be score goals, get assists, and some will even have you doing so with specific cards. Now, to keep track of these objectives, you'll receive an in-game pop-up while you work towards the objectives. Now, I asked Nicholas what that means from a developer standpoint and what he's most excited for when it comes to Objectives 2.0.
We're utilizing this new tech to actually refresh our daily and weekly objectives, so we want to, give a different look to that stuff and just give some new fun things to do, every day and every week. And then on top of that, the thing that I'm most excited about is, we're able to build Objectives 2.0 around doing things with specific player cards, specific players, specific teams, or card types, and all that's going to allow, event objectives to have a lot more depth and be a lot more meaningful this year.
To complete those objectives, it's going to be far easier because in NHL 24, we are getting a shared economy. In this year's game, you will be able to buy, sell, and trade with players from the opposite console, meaning that PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S and X players, they will now share a single market. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One players, they will also share a single market. Now, with it being easier to acquire the cards you're looking for in NHL 24, you'll be able to show them off with the all-new HUT Share. This will allow you to share your roster through a single screenshot. It includes both desktop and mobile view designed for easy sharing of your progress. It'll highlight your entire roster, as well as some of the biggest accomplishments you've made during your time in Hockey Ultimate Team. We're also getting the brand new XP sets. In this year's game, you'll earn XP from logins, daily, and weekly objectives for use in a new linear set track. By completing all 40 sets released weekly, you can earn yourself an all 99 overall master item. To speak more about the new XP sets, I asked Nicholas about how it's going to work.
Yeah, so we wanted to look at a way of revamping the monthly collectible sets, and so This year, we're actually going to have a more linear track, but the real goal of it, the real exciting part about it is you're actually pursuing this, what we kind of call the ultimate hut reward, and it's going to be a 99 everything card that you'll get just from completing these sets throughout the year. And so you get XP collectibles from daily and weekly challenges, etc. And then as you do these sets, you'll earn individual collectibles that work toward this ultimate reward. I think I was mentioning, like, we really want these to represent or be representative of, you know, what happened this year, big stories from that year, and so that they actually have meaning in the context of the 23-24 season. So right now I can only reveal 2 that have been chosen, which are Cale Makar, who's our cover athlete this year, and Connor Bedard, first overall pick from the draft.
Also getting a change in NHL 24 will be synergies. There are going to be a base set of synergies for each player type in the game. For example, power forwards will have the powered forward synergy, which will allow player types to more reflect their playstyle in game. On top of that, there'll be new boost synergies, which will be added to player items through live content.
The first thing we wanted to do was bring more meaning to the player types in the game. So right now they're kind of represented as, you know, 3 letters on a card, you know, two-way forward, power forward, etc. And this year we're actually going to have a power forward synergy that goes on every power forward item. It helps you understand when you're building a team that you're building around a certain identity. And on top of that, there will be another number of synergies that are purely just boosts, and they're named a little bit more simply. Like there's an acceleration boost, a speed boost, etc. And we wanted to make that, you know, the synergies a little bit more approachable for players and a little bit more understandable.
And lastly, let's discuss the content coming up in NHL 24. X Factors will be coming back to NHL 24. In this year's game, there will be a representative from every single NHL franchise, totaling 32 players across the league. On top of that, there will be 6 women X Factor cards from their corresponding international squad. Team builders will also be making a return to NHL 24 with some major changes in how you acquire the team builder cards. As you go through and collect cards from each individual squad, you will get that team's 84 overall team builder card. Once you have collected 6 total 84 overall team builder cards, you could then trade them in for an 87. However, the big change coming to NHL 24 is that it can be any of the 32 team builder cards, meaning that you won't need to collect every single division and every single team. If you wanted the new 87 overall Jeremy Roenick, you could go ahead and cash in 6 Jack Johnson cards to acquire him. Making the return to NHL 24 are the Power Up Icons set. Now, the big change to the Power Up Icons this year will be the fact that they are broken down into 4 separate categories. You've got Playoff Heroes, Rookie Cards, Vintage, as well as Dynamic Duo. Now, once you are able to collect the 2 headliner items from each of those 4 sets, you can then trade them in for the ultimate Power Up Icon. In this year's game, they will be Mario Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky, and Gordie Howe, and they will continue to upgrade throughout the year. So from Hut Moments to Objectives 2.0, the new XP sets and updated live content, there is a lot to do in this year's game. Be sure to take advantage of the last chance pre-order bonus to secure yourself a Hut Team Building Player Choice Pack. That's gonna do it for me. I'm No Sleeves, and I'll see you in NHL 24.